This is Rick Malone for the San Francisco Symphony. Maurice Ravel loved children. It may have been because he himself was quite small and slightly built, and they could relate to him on their own level, so to speak. But he also loved magical stories and mechanical toys, and he loved sharing both with the children of his friends. World War I had taken a toll on Ravel. He had enlisted as an ambulance driver, and in his trips to and from the front lines, he had almost been killed on several occasions. After he was discharged in 1917, he received a package from the novelist and music hall star Colette, which contained her libretto for a one-act opera called L'Enfant et les sortileges, which translates roughly as The Little Boy and the Magic Spells. Ravel loved Colette's poem, and he saw the chance to turn it into an opera as a way to recover from his war experiences and put them far behind him. It turned out to be a happy collaboration. Both Colette and Ravel loved animals, especially cats, and they loved making up stories about their animals. She shared his love of children, and both were very close to their mothers. So much of what they had in common forms the heart of the opera. L'Enfant et les sortileges is the story of a child whose bad behavior causes the world, his toys, his pets, the furnishings in his room, even the animals outside, to turn against him and eventually make him realize that it's better to be nice than naughty. Ravel's student, the conductor and arranger Manuel Rosenthal, called the opera undoubtedly Ravel's masterpiece, and its music reflects the simplicity and the sadness of childhood. Ravel tells us that a child looks at the adult world in a way we know nothing about. Everything is gigantic and wondrous to him. A child thinks only and always about freedom. A child is always dreaming. That is why he is in revolt against adults." End quote. The opera starts on a lazy afternoon with a small boy who's having a very bad day. He doesn't want to do his homework, he's messed up the page in his exercise book and spilled ink on the carpet, and when Maman looks in on him, he sticks his tongue out at her. She decrees that he must spend the afternoon alone, with only dry bread and tea without sugar for lunch. The boy throws a tantrum. He smashes the teacup, kicks his pets, rips up the wallpaper, and generally trashes his room. But here is where the magic begins, as the animals and the inanimate objects come to life to teach the boy a lesson. First, the armchair slides out from under him to dance a stately saraband with a sofa. The grandfather clock threatens the boy, chiming out of control from his broken pendulum. A jazzy trombone smear introduces a conversation between a Wedgwood teapot and a china cup in something almost, but not quite, entirely unlike English. They dance a foxtrot, and the cup answers the pot's pseudo-English with fake Chinese. The little boy is overwhelmed, but he starts to get really scared when the fire blazes up to confront him about his behavior. Fire and ash dance together. But the scene suddenly changes to something more pastoral, another Baroque-style dance representing the shepherds and shepherdesses from the torn wallpaper. We get another glimpse of the boy's vulnerability, but this time it's not out of fear, but love. Love for the beautiful fairy tale princess in one of his storybooks. But the book is torn. How will the story end? Will the dark forces of night recapture her? He reaches out to try to save her, but the floor opens up and she vanishes. One of the most tender moments in the opera is the boy's song as he looks through the torn pages for the end of the story. He's interrupted by an orchestral shriek. And a little old man enters, rattling off nightmarish exercises in arithmetic. The mathematical demons grab the boy and drag him into a mad round dance. And he eventually falls to the ground, all worn out. Meanwhile, night has fallen and the moon has risen. The boy's black cat enters, huge and terrible, and he sings a duet with a white cat he sees in the garden. Manuel Rosenthal wrote that certainly Ravel spent a lot of time ruffling the fur of his two Siamese cats, the better to notate their purrings, end quote. And somehow Ravel even managed to turn it into a feline parody of Wagner's Tristan and Isolde. The boy follows the cats into the garden, and Ravel now sets the scene with the music of insects, frogs, and toads, the laughter of screech owls, a murmur of breeze, and nightingales, end quote. For a moment, the boy believes he's found peace, but the accusations continue. The trees sing a lament for the times he cut into their bark with his knife. And a dragonfly sings a sad song as she looks for the mate she cannot find. The boy is caught and killed him as a trophy. Frogs, bats, a nightingale, hawk moths, and a squirrel join in. The boy is amazed and moved as he watches them. They love each other. They're happy. They've forgotten me, he says. He tries to apologize to the squirrel for keeping him in a cage. He cries out for his mother. The animals suddenly realize that the boy who hurt them is right there among them. They attack. But in the midst of the chaos, the baby squirrel is hurt and bleeding. As the animals watch in amazement, the boy binds up the baby squirrel's wound with his handkerchief. They see that the boy is also hurt, afraid, in distress, and above all, alone. The animals sing a hymn to the good that they see in the boy. The music is unsentimental, full of love, and in the end, pure magic. Manuel Rosenthal wrote that when I wanted to give Ravel something for his birthday, I always looked for a highly original toy, and he was always delighted. End quote. Well, L'Enfant et les sortileges is Ravel's own highly original toy, just for us. This is Rick Malone for the San Francisco Symphony.